What's up, gorgeous people? It's Amber. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video, we are getting back to DIYing. Woo! So I am going to go ahead and alter that hideous dress that I got from Shein. I mean, it looked great on the model, looked terrible on me. Like there wasn't anything that I could do to make that dress work the way that it was. So I had to think of a way that I could go ahead and alter this dress to make it so that it works or return it, which we knew I wasn't going to return it. It was like $11 and I liked the challenge to try to make something into something else. So I decided that I was going to play around with some options that I had in my head originally and hopefully figure out one of them that would work. And I think I found a great solution for this dress. So instead of me trying to talk about what I did and how I did it, why don't I just get into the video and show you? Okay guys, materials in the description box below, and I'm going to start by cutting this dress in half. So what I decided to do was cut as close to that metallic part as I possibly could. So I just took my scissors and I cut across, keeping it as straight as I possibly could. And boom, we have a shirt. Okay, now that we have that part done, we're going to go ahead and do a rolled hem on the bottom of the shirt here. So I'm going to go ahead and take my fabric, roll it over once, then I'm going to roll it over again, and then I'm going to grab my sewing clip and clip it down. So I'm going to do that all the way around and then take it to the sewing machine and sew it together. Now, if you don't want to sew yours together or you're just not very good at sewing hems, then just go ahead and use fabric glue instead of sewing this down. That would work just fine as well. Okay, now that I've sewn that down, this is what it looks like. So the shirt is almost done, believe it or not. The only thing I have left to do is I didn't want those belt loops on there. I did try it, didn't like it. So in order to fix the problem with the belt loops, I'm just going to cut them off. I'm going to go as close to the fabric as I possibly can and just boom, snip it off just like that. And you can't even tell that there was belt loops there. Fabulous. Now our shirt is done. Yes. Now we're going to move on to the skirt. So what was the bottom of the dress is going to become the top of the skirt. And the reason why I chose to do it this way is because I wanted to go ahead and use what they already have there for a casing. So in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and take my seam ripper and see right there where their hem starts. That's where I'm going to seam rip down to. So I got my seam ripper here. I'm going to seam rip just to that point there to open this up, because where the hem begins will be where you want to stop so that you have a casing. I hope that makes sense. But that's essentially what I'm doing here. You can tell I haven't done DIYs in a while. I'm having trouble explaining it. Nonetheless, now that I've opened that up just to where their hem starts, I'm going to have a little casing to stick something through there to make this fit my waist. So see, just like that, boom. Now you're going to want to do the exact same thing to the other side, because this is two separate pieces. This isn't one fluid piece. So you're going to have to separate both of them in order to get whatever you're going to feed through all the way through there. I decided to use the shoestring. Now I have a shoestring that fits my waist just fine, and if you don't, you can go ahead and just tie two of them together. That would be a great solution to that problem. So now I'm just going to go ahead and take my shoestring and I'm going to feed it through that part that I just showed you that's opened up, just like that. Boom. So now I'm just going to literally feed this all the way through the bottom of here. So you're just going to, go a little way, pull your fabric, go a little way, pull your fabric. You have to do that all the way through here. So once I get to the other side, I'll show you what's going to happen here as soon as I get there. Seems like an eternity for this to get done, but really it's actually not that long. Even though it seems long, it really wasn't that long. So now that I'm finally almost to the end here, and boom, there's the top of the shoestring there. So I'm just going to pull it all the way through. So then I take a look at my other side here and I'm like, oh, that's closed off. I don't want to mess with it. So then I just roll to the other side because I know that part's opened up, and I'm just going to feed the rest of it through. Now what I should have done there is just simply open that up and fed it through the rest of the way, because you're going to see here at the very end, I'm like, oh crap, that is closed off. I have to open it up. So Hello, you have to open it up so that you can feed whatever it is you're feeding through this all the way through. You could use elastic or whatever it is that you want to use. I just chose to use a shoestring because it was the perfect size to fit through this without me having to reinvent the wheel and create my own casing. Now we're done with that part. Yay! So I fed it all the way through and I'm just pulling it taut. Now I went ahead and put the skirt on, and then I decided where I wanted my length to be and marked it with a pen. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my scissors here, and I'm just going to cut straight across because it was obviously going to be way too long. So I wanted it right above the knee. Now that I've cut that off, I'm going to do the exact same thing with the skirt that I did with the shirt. I'm going to do a rolled hem. So when you think things through here, I probably could have just created the casing the size that I wanted it to be instead of creating this rolled hem. So I don't know, maybe I made myself some more work, maybe I didn't. Either way, whatever, we're going to do the rolled hem. And there it is, it's all done and ready to go. Okay, so now I decided that it needed a belt because I'm going to go ahead and use that pink and brown shirt that I had with the haul also. So this belt was missing the top part of it. Or not the top part, the loopy part. So I'm going to go ahead and use a zip tie to correct that situation. The reason why I took that out was because the gemstones were falling off, so I just ripped it off of there, and then I had to figure out a way to fix it so I could use it because it was perfect for this project. So now that I put the zip tie through, I need to cover it up with something. So I'm going to go ahead and cover it up with this brown trim that matches the belt perfectly. Yes, guys, I had all of this at my house already. My house is like a store for crafts. So because I don't want to try to feed all of that through and I don't need it all, I'm just getting what I think is a sufficient amount out, cutting it, and now I'm going to go ahead and just literally wrap this all the way around the zip tie. So when you're doing something like this, make sure that you're overlapping so that you don't see any of the zip tie. I mean, unless you want to leave it a zip tie and you want people to know you use that, that's totally fine. I did not. I wanted to cover it up to make it look like it was a real belt. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that I'm overlapping and making it as, tightening it up as tight as I possibly can as I'm working through. Now that I'm at the very end here, I'm going to go ahead and grab my glue gun, and I'm just going to stick a little dab of glue there to finish it off. And that's going to hold up just fine. I'm not concerned about it coming apart or anything like that, but if you are, then you could use E6000 in place of the hot glue. Now that the hot glue is dry, I'm just going to cut this off, and boom, this is ready to roll. Perfect! So now I'm going to go ahead and create another belt from scratch that matches it perfectly, so I'm going to use my excess fabric to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the fabric in half so that I can create a belt that will match this outfit perfectly if I want to wear everything together as it was to begin with. So I want to put some structure inside this to make it like a belt, so I'm going to use some Gorilla Tape. So I just take the Gorilla Tape to the halfway part of my table, and if you don't have a halfway part of your table that would be the right length, then just mark it with a piece of tape or something where you want to cut and just do it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this upside down, and I'm going to get another piece that's roughly the same length, because we're trying to match them up here. So go ahead, cut that in place and separate it. And then I'm going to join these together. Now this tape is extremely sticky. So once you stick it together, it's like stuck. There's no getting it unstuck. So you can't make a mistake here. So what I do to try to avoid them sticking together before I want them to is I just start by putting the top part together, and then I line up the rest of it as best I can, and then just hurry up and put it all down. Now, I feel like I got really lucky with this first piece, so I show you this again because it looks like it just lined up with no problem and the tape didn't touch each other, but that really doesn't happen every single time, so let me just show you again. So you're going to take your tape, you're going to go ahead and, go to whatever point you feel is the right point. But we're doing this in halves because to do one long piece would just be way too hard with this tape. So that's why I'm doing half and then half again. So now that I have that piece ready, I'm going to go ahead and get the second piece ready. Same thing, cut it to the center of the table, which happened to be the right length for me. Lucky me. Now I'm just going to take my tape and I'm going to line up just the top parts of the tape here, just the top parts. don't want it to touch each other, because if it does, you're done. You've got to do it all over again, because this is extremely sticky tape. Okay, so I lined the top parts up. Now I'm holding it as far away as I can, lining it up as best I can without touching, and drop it down. Boom. Just like that. So I'm sure you guys might have to do this a couple times before getting it right, but you know, when you work with this tape as much as I do, you get used to it and you get pretty good at it. So I'm just going to join these two pieces together to make them one long piece, which is what we want them to be. So I'm going to grab another little piece of Gorilla Tape here to wrap it around to join these two pieces together. Pretty awesome. So this is what's going to be the structure of our belt. Okay, now that that part's ready to go, we're going to go ahead and stick it inside there to decide how much fabric we actually need for this belt. So you want to make sure that you leave enough for seam allowance here as well, because we're going to sew this together. So now that I've done all of that, I'm going to go ahead and flip it inside out, and then I'm just going to pin it all the way down to the other side there and sew that part down, because we're going to stick that Gorilla Tape that we just created inside this. So this is becoming like a casing, like we just did for the top part of the skirt. Obviously I had too much on the end there. I don't know what's going on, whatever, I just cut it off. Okay, now that I have it all sewn together, this is what it looks like. And then I went ahead and sewed one of the sides down as well. So now I need to flip it right side out, which I did. This is what it looks like. The one side is sewn, the other side is not. So we're going to take this Gorilla Tape and we're going to feed it through the side that I did not sew down yet. So this is actually really easy to feed through. Like you're seeing me have a little bit of trouble as I'm getting it started. But if you just right here, grab a piece of the fabric as I'm trying to do here, and there, I got it. It just pushes right through. It's really simple to push it through as long as you've made your casing wide enough. That's why you don't want to make it too tight, because it won't feed through and it'll take you forever to get it through. So it's best just to leave yourself a little bit of room, because you just want this to look semi-structured. I mean, it doesn't have to be a full structured belt. Okay. Now that I've got that all the way through, now I need to work on getting that loopy part like the other belt was. And I decide, looking at it here, that I don't want to put all of that Gorilla Tape through my sewing machine. So I thought what was best was just line it up as best I could. And what I should have done here is just measured this so that I cut the right length, but I eyeballed it as I always do and just cut some of it off. But I can tell you right now, off camera, I ended up putting a little bit more back on because I cut too much off. So at any rate, this is what it looks like after I've cut that off, and I'm going to fold it over and sew it down. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I did sew it through just the one piece of the Gorilla Tape so that it would stay in place. So that's our little loopy-loo. Now we just need to do the same thing we did with the other belt to create like a decorative thing to feed the other half of the belt through. So we're going to use a zip tie again. Just take it to the very end, make sure it's secure, cut off your excess, and this time I'm going to go ahead and use that excess fabric to wrap around it to make it look decorative. And once I do that, guess what, guys? This DIY is complete! Woohoo! That was so easy. I love it. I love it. Done. So there you go, guys. That was what I thought was the best situation to fix this dress, was just to go ahead and cut it in half and make it a two-piece set. And you know what? That gives you flexibility to wear the shirt with something else and wear the skirt with something else. So I think that was a great solution for this. Now, as far as the skirt goes, when you're doing the skirt, another option, instead of using the shoestring like I did in the video, is getting elastic that would be a 1/2 inch or an inch wide, and you could just make your casing according to, you know, the size of the elastic. That would be one way you could do it. And another way is just to cut the skirt to size and add a zipper so that it's like form-fitting and fits you good. That would be a couple other solutions for the skirt. And actually, looking back at it, I probably will do that in the future. I'll probably just go ahead and cut the skirt so that it fits me perfectly and put a zipper in there, because I think that I would like the way that looks better. I don't know. For now, I'm going to wear it the way that I did it in the video, because I do like it, and it is a quick, easy solution to a situation like that. So I definitely will wear it the way that it is for a while, and at some point I probably will go ahead and change it, make it a little more form-fitting, and add that zipper in there. But I just thought that I would show you this method for this video and hope that that might work well for somebody. I don't know. You know, just throwing some different stuff out there. At any rate, although I do love DIYing and I'm normally really good at it, you can tell in this video that I was pretty rusty. So I definitely want to make sure going forward that I get at least one DIY tutorial in for you guys each week. I definitely have a ton more hauls to show you guys, and I'm definitely going to do that because I did get feedback from quite a few people that said they like seeing those videos. They found them helpful. So I definitely want to do what the audience wants, because that's why I'm here, is to do whatever it is you guys want to see, whatever it is you want to learn. At any rate, that is definitely, why I'm here. I want to make sure that I'm doing what the audience wants to see. But at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm sticking to what the channel is really supposed to be about. So I'll definitely have at least one DIY a week on Saturday or Sunday, and then I'll show you the rest of my hauls on a Saturday or Sunday. So I don't know which day is going to be which. I can't promise you, but I do know that I'm definitely going to share all the hauls with you, and that I definitely want to work in one DIY. So going forward, that's the way things are going to go. I hope. We'll see how it goes. And you know what? I have so many other things that I want to show you guys that throughout the week I probably will be throwing in a bonus video, because I have quite a few like crafty things around my house that I want to do, and I want to share those with you so that it hopefully inspires you to do the same thing. So having said all that, I hope that you found this video helpful or useful in some way. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. Click the notification bell, like, share, do all of those things to help other people find this channel. Thanks so much for taking the time to check this out, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye! Gorgeous people, it's Amber. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm getting a video out. Did you get all that? Great. So I'm getting the video out late again today. I apologize. I mean, I literally I'm not done filming. I'm filming right now. So that doesn't work. So there you go, guys. I think that was a pretty What is eeple? What? I don't know what that means. And of course, I just needed some structure to the other belt because I was just using fabric. Now I could have tied it like a ribbon type situation, which would have been fine too. You guys could just have, you can do yours that way. Drop it. I also found that I enjoy doing the hauls, and there's just other things that I'm finding that I enjoy and that it appears people want to see. So I'm definitely doing what I think is best for what? I don't know what I'm saying.